In this course, wet bulb temperature, dew point temperature, and relative humidity will be used to describe atmospheric moisture. These terms are examined in great detail because each represents a different measurement of the amount of moisture in the air.
The dry bulb is the degree of hotness or coldness of the air. It's just the actual temperature of the atmosphere. The wet bulb is the lowest temperature to which the air can be cooled by evaporation. So as the water evaporates, the temperature will decrease of the wet bulb. The dew point is the temperature to which air must be cooled to reach saturation without adding water vapor. Also the temperature at which dew forms. So this air 84 degrees, must cool down to a temperature of 31 degrees in order for condensation and rain to occur. The relative humidity is the ratio of the amount of moisture in the air to the maximum amount of moisture the air could contain if it were saturated. A low relative humidity number means the air is very dry and a low chance of precipitation.
The wet bulb temperature is defined as the lowest temperature to which the air can be cooled by evaporation. This is the same type of cooling you feel when you come out of a swimming pool, as heat from your skin is used to evaporate water off of it. The wet bulb temperature is read from a thermometer that has a water-soaked wick covering the bulb. As air flows over the wick, it cools as water evaporates from it. The amount of moisture in the air surrounding the wick affects the amount of cooling the thermometer measures. The drier the air, the more evaporative cooling can take place, resulting in a lower wet bulb temperature, and therefore a greater difference between the dry bulb and wet bulb temperatures. We can measure the dry bulb and the wet bulb at the same time using a psychrometer. This instrument has both the wet bulb thermometer and dry bulb thermometer mounted together.
Review question number 1. In humid but unsaturated air, which temperature will be the highest? The dry bulb temperature will be the highest as long as the air is unsaturated. If the air was saturated, then the dry bulb and the wet bulb temperature will be the same. But remember, the dew point temperature is always lower than the dry bulb temperature. Question 2. When the relative humidity equals 100%, the air is saturated, and which of the following are equal? Well, if the air is saturated and it's going to be raining soon, that means that the dry bulb temperature must equal the wet bulb temperature. When the air is saturated, it has the maximum amount of moisture possible. The dew point and the dry bulb are equal. Always remember this. It will be on your test. Can the dew point be higher than the dry bulb temperature? Yes or no? Remember, once the dry bulb temperature has cooled to the dew point temperature, saturation is reached. Question number 4. In which situation is there more moisture in the air? A dew point temperature of 20 degrees or a dew point temperature of 65 degrees? Remember, warm air can hold more moisture. Dew point is one of the best measurements of the amount of moisture in the air. The higher the dew point, the more water vapor is in the air. So the correct answer is a dew point of 65 degrees. I hope this was helpful. Good luck.